Happy Dinger Tuesday. We got a full 15 game slate. Let's talk some baseball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and that's right, we're back with a full slate of games today. Yesterday, a nice winning 2-in-1 day. Make it 2 winning days in a row. To say it should have been a sweep is an understatement, but you know what? We'll take the winning day. I already ranted on Discord and X about it, but we'll go over the recap in just a little bit. It is Dinger Tuesday, which means it's time for the Dinger Tuesday contest. Here's how you can win either one free month of Outlier or $20. You must like the video and be subscribed, and then leave a comment with your favorite home run bet. But you also have to include the odds and the sports book. The highest odds will win. Plus 800 beats plus 700, etc., etc. If we have a tie for the odds, then we're going to go with longest home run hit. If we have a tie with the same player, then they both just win. So that's what we got. Be sure to leave that comment below. But speaking of Outlier, of course, any graphics you see in this video are from an app called Outlier, the best betting research tool on the market today. Click that link below. You get a 7-day free trial. So let's get into it. And it's a fun fact that I just saw today, thanks to @ChicagoGolfPro, who sent it to me on Discord. BetMGM posted this, so I can't confirm if it's actually a fact or not, but we're going to go with it. Jose Altuve has 242 career home runs. If you don't know, he's like 5'5", 5'6". All other players that have ever played baseball listed at 5'6" or shorter since 1947 have a combined 241 home runs, and he has 242. I'm sure some guys under 5'6" have won Kentucky Derbies before, though. Anyways, that's the fun fact today. It's pretty random. But in this video, we're going to recap yesterday, and then we're going to go over the good and bad hitter matchups, the good pitcher strikeout matchups, the entire 15-game pitcher report, and of course, we'll end it with the best bets and the recap. And hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Come join this awesome community. Discord link is below as well. Completely free to join. And by the way, love all the banter about Zach Wheeler as a Hall of Famer. I had some people on, yes, he definitely is. Some people, no chance and all that kind of stuff. It was great to hear all you guys' reasons and all that. So just love talking some baseball. But anyways, that's what we got. Let's get it rolling. And that means it's recap time. All right, there it is. The 3-0 day. Just joking. That's what it should have been, but it was 2-1. Alternate team total parlay. I know there's a few of you guys that are throwing some hate at me for doing alt team total parlays. You know what, guys? It's on DraftKings. It's a very popular sports book. I know not everybody can get every single bet, but it's something that we've had some success doing this year. And in baseball, anytime you can find something to have success in, you got to keep rolling with it a little bit because it is tough to win in baseball. That was a nice winner. Yankees cashed a little slow start, then cashed easy thanks to a Jazz Chisholm 2-run homer, and then I think Bellinger hit 1 and all that. But Rays team total over 2.5, slow start in the first couple innings, and they got the job done easy. Orioles got the job done in the third inning. So again, all three of these were no sweat. I mean, we weren't waiting till the 8th or 9th inning. That's what you love to see. We'll take a winner there. And then this one, I'm going to stay calm because I have already vented on Discord and X. Thank you guys for listening to that. But Patrick Corbin was as good a read as you can have. This man has thrown no more than 94 pitches. He gets his 17th out on pitch number 107. I think he was really close, if not set a career high in pitches. Here's his last 4 games. 91, 86, 77 pitches, and then 110 tonight. I don't know what else to say, guys. Through 5 innings, he was right at around 100, and he comes back out for the 6th. I just don't know what to say. You know what? Obviously, the Orioles could have hit him a little bit more in the 5th and 6th to help, but the Texas Rangers had one thing in mind, and that was to run him into the ground tonight. Vlad and Bobby Witt, 1+ hit each, got the job done. Vlad first at bat, Bobby Witt second at bat. Love to see those easy winners. So again, nice 2-in-1 day, 2-in-1 day on Sunday. Anytime you get any sort of profit in baseball, you got to take it. Let's keep rolling it this week. There's the overall record with the complete breakdown, and that's what we got for the recap. Now let's talk some hitter matchups. All right, here are the best hitter matchups of the day, and we're going to see a couple Yankees up here, a few of them actually against Kevin Gausman. Aaron Judge, 14 for 41. He's actually struck out a decent amount against Gausman, but he also has 8 extra base hits and 6 Jimmy Jacks. That's a lot. And then his teammate, Giancarlo Stanton, 7 for 22, 3 extra base hits with 2 home runs off of him. And then you go down a little bit more, Paul Goldschmidt. How about 7 for 13 with an extra base hit and a home run off of him? So we got some top-of-the-order guys on the Yankees that have had success versus Gausman. And then you'll see Arenado up there, 5 for 14. Bryce Harper, who made his return yesterday, 4 for 13 with a couple home runs off of Pivetta. And his teammate, Realmuto, 5 for 13 off of Pivetta as well. And then you go over there on the right side, you know, nothing huge. A lot of 3 for 9s, 3 for 8s, and then some guys that are 3 for 7 down there at the bottom. C.J. Abrams, Kepler, Verdugo, and et cetera, et cetera. So That's what we got for the good hitter matchups. Take a screenshot, and now let's move over to the bad hitter matchups. And that's right, just a half a page here. But Brian Reynolds, 2 for 17. Anthony Volpe, who is he's in a rut. He is struggling in general. And he's also 3 for 18 with 10 Ks against Gaussman. That's not pretty. But then you got Cody Bellinger, 2 for 16, 6 Ks against Gaussman. So we showed you 3 top of the order guys that have been really successful against Gaussman. Here's 2 other Yankee hitters that have not been as successful. But Mason Wynn, 2 for 15 against Skeens. Nothing crazy there. Vlad, 2 for 11 off Max Fried. And Soto, 1 for 10 with 1 strikeout off of Peralta. So that's what we got for the hitter matchups. Now let's talk some Ks. All right, we got 2 good pitcher strikeout matchups for you today. There was close to being a couple more, but they were just facing like average strikeout teams. But these 2, Jacob deGrom versus the Orioles. Baltimore, 8th highest K rate versus righties last 3 weeks, 23.1%. deGrom, 94 Ks in 95.1 innings. So not the deGrom of old, but still striking out a decent amount. He faced Baltimore in his last start. So these can always be a little tricky when you're facing the same team twice. In his last start, he had 7 Ks in 7 innings, so right on track with the season numbers where you get 1 K per inning. He now has 6+ Ks in 4 straight games. Much lower K rate at home, though. Something to keep in mind, only 20.9%. I don't know why, but it's weird. Compared to on the road, 32.5%. And then a much higher K rate versus lefties, 29.4% compared to 21.7% against righties. Now the second one, Yamamoto of the Dodgers against the White Sox. White Sox 10th highest K rate versus righties, 22.9, so not crazy bad. But Yamamoto, 101 Ks in 89.2 innings this year. He had 6 Ks last start before a rain delay, so I mean I think it was through like 50 pitches. He was on pace for 10 plus in that one. It was the Rockies though. Only had a 23.6% K rate in June, by far his lowest month. So just something to keep in mind. We'll see if he can pick it back up. Slightly lower K rate at home, but still 27.2 compared to 29.7 on the road. Not a huge difference. Higher K rate versus lefties, 29.7, and still a 27% K rate versus righties. So that's what we got for the pitcher Ks. Now let's take a look at the pitcher report. All right, here is our breakdown of the full 15-game slate. Hopefully these help you guys out just as you start your betting and start your day and what you're going to look into. But these are the first 8 matchups. And as you guys know, we added home runs per 9 innings over there, and all the averages are on the bottom. But Max Fried versus Kevin Gaussman. Fried, we know, one of the best starting pitchers in the game right now. Gone 6+ innings in 5 straight starts. And Gaussman, after 4 straight bad starts, he bounced back with an 8-inning shutout versus Cleveland in his last start. But again, I think I could do that against Cleveland right now. Nick Pivetta versus Sanchez. Pivetta coming off his best start of the year with 7 shutout innings and 10 Ks versus the Nats. And Sanchez also coming off a great start. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, and 11 strikeouts at the Houston Astros. And then Palante versus Skeens. Palante we won his under-outs last start against the Cubbies. This is what I learned about him. This is what's crazy. No one throws their off-speed pitches out of the zone more than Palante. He struggles to throw strikes. So if he's facing a team that, like the Cubs just did last time, they don't chase his pitches, then he is going to get that pitch count up. So you're looking for low chase teams and things like that. I just thought that was interesting. But anyways, Paul Skeens coming off his worst start of the year, 4 innings, 4 earned runs at the Brewers. We know how good he is. He usually is better on the road, though, but still, obviously, a stud. And then the man with 2 first names, Joe Ryan versus Edward Scissorhands Cabrera. Ryan, been solid this year, giving up 3 earned runs or less in 13 of 16 starts. So he's given his team a chance to win. And that team is the Twins, who are struggling to win right now. But Cabrera, 2+ walks in 6 straight starts, but is limiting hits. He's given up just 7 total hits in his last 14.2 innings. Something to keep in mind, if you're looking at hit props and things like that, Cabrera just has been hard to barrel up. Flaherty versus Williams. It's been ugly for him, I'm not going to lie. He's given up 18 total earned runs in his last 13 innings, which is over 3 starts. Going up against Trevor Williams, not a good pitcher either, obviously 5.65 ERA. He's given up 6+ hits now in 4 straight starts. 2+ earned runs in 13 of his 16 starts. So he's pretty much guaranteed to give up at least a few runs. And then Springs versus Boz. This is an interesting one. Springs facing his old team here. He's been up and down. He is a tough one to crack, that's for sure. He's good to give up a few runs usually. And speaking of another guy tough to crack, how about Shane Boz? Very inconsistent with his command. Last 5 starts with his walks. How about 1, 3, 4, 4, and 1? And sometimes he gets pounded, and sometimes he pitches well and he's spotting pitches and he's got some nasty stuff. But that's a tough one there in that game. But Brady Singer versus Dick Fitz, one of our favorite pitchers. Singer giving up 2 or less earned runs in 4 straight road starts. And then Fitz making just his 2nd start since June 2nd, not going very deep into games as well. And then Freddie Peralta versus the struggling Mets. Peralta giving up 3 or less earned runs in 16 of 17 starts. The most given up in a start was versus Cleveland with 4 earned runs, which is bizarre. Again, Cleveland. But that was on 4 hits and 3 walks. Just didn't have it. Clay Holmes given up exactly 1 or 3 earned runs, not 2. 1 or 3 earned runs in 6 straight starts. Does that help you? Probably not, but just want to point that out. He does have 10 walks, though, in his last 9.2 innings. That has got to change if they want a chance to win, that's for sure. But anyways, that's page 1. Now let's take a look at page 2, and we start out with Tyler Anderson versus Fuentes. Anderson, it's been a struggle this year. He's had a nice start. Last time out, 4.2 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run versus Boston. But before that, in his 4 prior starts, combined 18 earned runs allowed. And then Fuentes has not had a good start to his career. This guy is 20 years old. That's right. He's like half my age. He's given up 3 home runs in 8.1 innings with just 4 Ks so far. Small sample size. But then we got Gavin Williams versus Matthew Boyd. Williams been pretty decent this season. Has just 9 Ks in his last 15.1 innings, though, so he's finding a lot of bats right now. And then Matthew Boyd, this is a guy who gives your team a chance to win. Only giving up 2 or less earned runs in 6 straight starts. And then we got Brandon Young versus Jacob deGrom. Young making his 4th start of the season, giving up 3, 3, and 4 earned runs so far. Struggled with his command. 9 walks in 12.2 innings. You see 15% walk rate there. Again, small sample size, but that's still not good. And then deGrom. In June, he gave up 5 total earned runs in 32 innings. I think we know who has the pitching advantage there. And then Gordon versus Dollander in Coors Field. Gordon been pretty decent this year, coming off a 5-inning, 0 earned run start versus Philly. And then Dollander, he's had his moments, I will say, especially for a Rockies pitcher, but it has not been at Coors Field. 8.54 ERA, a 3.06 average against in Coors Field so far this year. I think it's in like 20-something innings there. And then Lorenzen versus Hancock. Lorenzen's been a struggle for him. He has a 6.31 ERA in June, or he had. Now that's July 1st. Hancock giving up 2 or less earned runs in 5 of 6 last 6 starts, but did just give up 9 earned runs in the other start in Wrigley Field. Again, that's that series I talk about. The wind was absolutely blowing out like crazy. So then we got Birdsong versus Gallen. This is for the hitters right here. Birdsong, in my opinion, has just flat out not been good. I have not been impressed by him. In his last 3 starts, 14.1 innings, he has given up 14 earned runs with 7 walks and 17 hits allowed. That's just not going to cut it. But he's going up against Zach Allen, who's been worse than him. He's been bad. In his last 4 starts, over the 23.1 innings, he has given up 30 hits, 20 earned runs in those 23.1 innings, and walked 9. It is not good for a gallon of milk right now. Shane Smith versus Yamamoto. I think there's an advantage here. But Smith, he has come crashing back down to earth. In his last 6.1 innings, how about 10 earned runs allowed with 5 walks? Yamamoto, a little hit and miss in June, to be honest with you. He has 2 starts of 0 earned runs allowed, 3 starts where he gave up 4, 5, and 3. So we know what he's capable of. We know what the White Sox offense is capable of as well. But that's what we got. Thanks for listening for the full 15-game slate. And now it is time for the best bets. All right, this first one takes us out to Miami, Florida, where the Marlins host the Minnesota Twinkies. Twins on the money line, minus 140. Marlins money line, plus 120, with a total of 7.5 runs. It's a little juicy, but I got to take it. Give me the Twins on the money line, minus 140. I got this on BetMGM and Bet365. It's a half unit play for me here. I had to do a double take when I saw this line. The Twins are minus 140 with Joe Ryan against Edward Cabrera and the Miami Marlins. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, one team's hot, one team's not. Exactly. That's why we're getting a great value here. The Marlins have won 7 straight games, but guess what? They were all on the road, and now they have to take a day off and travel back home to Miami. And I'm going to say this: 7 straight wins is impressive. I'm not saying they're terrible or anything like that. How many games they've won so far this year has been very impressive. But now we have to do a little sell high spot. So let's talk this starting pitcher matchup, Joe Ryan and Cabrera. Joe Ryan, been excellent this season. You guys know it. 29% K rate, and elite 5.6% walk rate. Just a great K to walk ratio. 2.86 ERA, 3.22 xFIP. He has given up 2 or less earned runs in 12 of his 16 starts. And then we go to Cabrera. He's known for having some issues with his command. He was like that the last couple of years, and he's like that this year. I mentioned it earlier. He's been handing out at least a few walks per game, so that's obviously helpful. He's been limiting hits lately, but he also doesn't go very deep into games. He's gone under 6 innings in 12 of 13 starts. I think the Minnesota offense, which we're going to talk about in a second, is going to get to him because the Twins, yes, they are losing, but their offense hasn't been the problem. They're averaging over 4 runs per game in the last 10 games. That includes facing Skubal and getting completely dominated on national television. But again, it's Skubal. It means nothing to me. Last 3 weeks versus righties. How about the ninth highest slugging, fifth highest ISO power? This is a team that hits for power and can score in bunches. Marlins went on an absolute heater the last road trip. I know that. But why is their team total still at 3.5 then with plus money for the over? It's because this is a tough matchup and it's still the Marlins. They went on their nice stretch. But again, I do not like when you're on a winning streak and all of a sudden you have a day off. It cools you off. And then plus you have to travel to a new place. In the last 10 home games for the Marlins, they are averaging just 3.2 runs per game. So overall, this is peak Marlins value right here, or not value, peak Marlins. This is a great sell high spot. And also on the other side, at the same time, I think we're getting a good buy low spot for the Twins. Why? Because they've lost 7 of the last 10 games. We have the better starting pitcher, the better offense still, and the much better bullpen with the Twins. Getting Joe Ryan at minus 140 only against the Marlins, too good to pass up. So give me the Twinkies on the money line as my first best bet. All right, this second one is another alternate team total parlay. We've been pretty successful these last couple weeks. Here we go. Half unit play for me here. It's not, I was so close to going to unit, but we'll talk through it. Obviously, you guys do what you want, but give me the Reds team total over 2.5, Tigers team total over 2.5, and Angels team total over 2.5. That's right. We got 3 of them that need 3 runs. So the Reds team total over 2.5. This offense has been hitting well lately. You guys know it. 3+ runs in 8 of the last 10. They just scored 4 off Crochet or 5 off Crochet, which is impressive. They're averaging 4.3 runs per game in the last 10. In their last 10 road games, they've scored 3+ runs in 7 of 10, averaging 5 runs per game. This is a top 10 team in regards to batting average versus righties in the last 3 weeks. And here's why I like it. They're facing Dick Fitz. If the Dick Fitz, right? Or Richard Fitz, sorry. Anyways, he's not good. He's made 2 home starts in Boston. Gave up 3 at Toronto when they were struggling. Gave up 5 to the Angels in 1 inning. He is prone to the long ball. This guy has given up 7 yayas in 25 innings. And the weather here, and you're going to notice a lot of my team total parlays, these teams are playing in pretty dang good weather conditions. We have 90 degrees with the 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. The game total is 10 for a reason. I just need 3 from Cincy. Second one, Tigers team total over 2.5. I also like their over 3.5. I think they score 5, 6+ runs, to be honest with you. Their team, the only concern here is there is slight rain in the forecast. So I don't know what that really affects. As long as we get 9 innings here, I'm not really too worried, especially since I only need 3 from them. They are facing Trevor Williams. This is a nightmare matchup for Mr. Williams. Why? He struggles mightily versus lefties. Anytime I'm looking at a Tigers team total, I go right to that opponent's starting pitcher and see how he is throwing versus lefties. What has he done? A 373 average against versus lefties in a 576 slugging. 7 of his 9 home runs given up have been to lefties. We'll talk why that's an issue in just a little bit, although you probably already know. Williams has had over a 5 ERA in every single month this season. He just isn't very good. Tigers offense scored 3+ runs in 8 of the last 10. 6+ runs in 5 of those 8 of those, or sorry, 3+ runs in 8 of the last 10, 6+ runs in 5 of the last 10. They're averaging almost 6 runs per game in the last 10. But the last 3 weeks versus right-handed pitching, how about the second highest WRC plus, number 1 team in slugging in the entire major leagues? They've been solid. And then you remember when I said Williams sucks versus lefties? Well, the Tigers should have about 6, maybe 7 in their lineup. You guys know it. They got Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green, all these guys up and down the lineup that are lefties. And then after Trevor Williams, they get a bad Nats bullpen. We have a huge total here for a reason. Again, I could have gone Tigers plus over 3.5 probably, maybe 4.5. This is a team that should be able to score as long as weather doesn't get in the way and make it short. But give me the Tigers for 3+. Now the third one, the Angels team total over 2.5. This may be the toughest or the easiest of the 3 legs. Why do I say that? Well, they're facing a 20-year-old. Maybe he shows up finally. Maybe he just continues to struggle. Fuentes has only made 2 starts. Again, he is 20 years old. He gave up 4 earned runs to the Marlins and 6 earned runs to the Mets, who are not swinging it well. That means 10 total earned runs in 8.1 innings, 14 hits, and only 4 strikeouts. So what that tells me is he's not fooling many guys. That stuff that's been working as a youngster in the minors is not translating to the major leagues. Again, this guy will probably have a pretty good career, but right now, 20 years old, pitching in the majors is not an easy thing. Angels offense, as you can see by this outlier screenshot, how about scored 3+ runs in 9 of the last 10, averaging 5.9 runs per game. This team is averaging 6 per game in the last 10, absolutely crushing it. Last 3 weeks versus righties, average when it comes to WRC plus, 15 WRC plus, but they also have the second highest walk rate. They're going to make this youngster throw strikes. I expect this Angels offense to get to Fuentes in this one. Of course, not on the road. They're the road team, which means they get 9 guaranteed at bats. And weather here, there's 5-mile-an-hour wind blowing in, which doesn't really affect anything, but 85 degrees. We have another high total for a reason. 3 teams, 3 runs each. That is my second best bet. All right, this final one takes us out to Wrigley Field, where the Cubbies host the Cleveland Guardians. Cubs money line minus 176, Guardians money line plus 144, with a total of 8 runs. This may be my first one-unit play for a side. Give me the Cubs -1. That's right. It's an alternate run line on DraftKings. It's -1. You actually have it on a few different books as well. I also like -1.5. If you just want to take the regular run line, I'd probably go to half unit myself. But I do like that one too. Let's talk about it. Starting pitcher matchup: Gavin Williams versus Matthew Boyd. Williams, he's been okay, but he's not missing many bats right now, like we talked about during the pitcher report. When I looked at his splits, he's struggling mightily versus righties. The Cubs are loaded with righties. That's just what they are. And he's given up a 294 average, 429 slugging to righties, a 158 average, 317 slugging to lefties. So when he faces a lefty heavy team, he can pitch pretty well. 173 whip, 448 xFIP to righties as well. He struggles with his command. He's almost at a 14% walk rate on the road this year. This is going to be a tough one for him. And then we go Matthew Boyd. Another reason why I like this: he is a lefty, and he's facing the Guardians. You guys that have watched me all season long know that the Guardians cannot hit lefties. Boyd, great at limiting runs, giving up 2 or lesser in runs in 6 straight starts, like I mentioned in the pitcher report. At home this season, a 2.41 ERA, an elite .88 whip. And then the offenses: Guardians, bottom 3 team versus lefties easily. They've been absolutely horrendous all season long versus Southpaws. In the last 3 weeks alone versus lefties, 6th worst WRC plus, 5th worst batting average, 4th worst slugging. They just cannot do much against them. Cubs versus righties last 3 weeks: how about the 5th best WRC plus, 2nd highest slugging? They're legit. We know it. One of the best offenses in the majors. The bullpen's last 3 weeks: Cubs 2.78 ERA, 3.66 Sierra. Guardians 4.91 ERA and a 4.29 Sierra. Both are rested, obviously, coming off days off. But overall, Cubs have the better starting pitcher, and they have the much better offensive splits, which you love to see here, and the better bullpen lately as well. So give me the Cubs -1. That is my third and final best bet. Again, any added plays will be in the pinned comments below on X and on Discord. Thank you for listening. But before we get out of here, let's check out that recap. All right, there it is. My 3 best bets so far. The Twins on the money line at -140 for a half unit. The alternate team total parlay, so close to making this a 1 unit. But I'm going to go a half unit on this one. Reds, Tigers, Angels. Just need 3 runs from all of them. And then the Cubs -1. That is a 1 unit play. Again, all the added plays, you will see them in the pinned comments. But thank you guys for watching. As always, really appreciate the support. Be sure to leave that Dinger Tuesday bet down below. Hope you have a great Tuesday, and we'll talk to you soon.